can see the void might do.
Yeah. Okay, it's the final game of Monday Night Starbow number 7. Another $25 open. In your top right, green Zerg, it's Franscar.
At the top left, once again blue, it's Moxie. Moxie legend.
Such a legend.
Moxie.
Series is tied up 1-1. This is a winner-take-all map on Circle of Life. Another one of our shaped like Fighting Spirit type maps, because everybody loves Fighting Spirit. Circle of Life has a somewhat similar layout with that rotational symmetry with the main, natural, and third in similar locations. Big differences though. On Circle of Life you do have a bridge instead of a ramp to your third for opponents to attack from. And you have a big wide open space between the natural and the third as opposed to that ravine that you'd see in Fighting Spirit. So a lot more aggression can take place here. Though there is a ramp, so which actually makes it even better for the attacking player generally. So
I gotta
a little
say
less
something
defensive.
I gotta say something about the spawns real quick. Now you'll notice that Moxie's third is on its way towards Franscar's base, and a lot of times in StarCraft 2 and in Brood War, it's considered somewhat okay for that to happen for a Terran, because you want a staging point, kind of want to get closer and closer to the Zerg. But for this map in particular, I actually don't like this for Moxie, because what he's going to do if it gets to the later game, he's going to take his third, right? And then he's going to have to defend this point with Dark Swarms coming down, and then he's going to have to defend with Ling run-bys over here. So I think it would have favored him a lot better if he was the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, no, that's pretty true. And then, of course, it kind of throws off your expansion pattern when you're trying to go get those later bases in the game if he does want to get a fourth as well, because he's going to be expanding in one direction, and then his only choice is to start expanding in a completely different direction as well, really spread him out, which generally in this matchup, Terran doesn't want to be spread out if they can help it.
Yeah.
Especially if Moxie goes for any sort of mech style like we saw in one of the games.
Yeah. We got the early gas going down again, so Franscar is going to stay true to his guns, and he's probably going to go for the early lair again. So we'll see if it's mutas or lurkers. But he's been favoring lurkers if I'm not mistaken, right, for these past few games.
Yeah, at least in this tournament, he has really been favoring the lurkers as opposed to the mutas. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him go again. But as I said before, I really think that if he does go for that fast lurker, it's gonna be good for Moxie, because I think Moxie's totally prepared to handle that. Unless he's just trying to out metagame him or something like that. Alternatively, who knows? Maybe he'll go muta just to switch things up.
Now, Finn, why'd you say that Franscar was going to take this one? What do you think's going to happen?
Pretty much exactly because of everything you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just want to sound smart by puppeting TRB. I see how it works.
No, like I said, I think the spawns are favoring Franscar here, and also his early. Ooh, wait a second!
Quick evolution chamber.
Yeah, we got an Evo chamber coming down, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some early carapace, possibly, maybe some heavy Zergling style.
Yeah,
maybe
that's pretty interesting.
Maybe some crazy Zerg perhaps. I know players like Arctic Hydra and sometimes Chris Farrar definitely prefer that style.
No,
so, yeah,
actually, Moxie doesn't know, but he would be wise to actually move out with these Marines right now, because you'll see it's sort of like a game of poker.
We do have an SCV coming into the main though, so he's going to get a full scout off, and we do have a Spire coming up now.
And you will see these Marines are going to move out, because what he wants to do here is he wants to kill some drones if he can, and he wants to force the Spine Crawler, which is also coming up. And then if he's lucky, Franscar will make some Zerglings too, which will kind of dip into his other production. So I hope Moxie runs past here if he wants to do some damage, which it looks like he may.
Yeah, just ignore this Spine for the most part.
Oh, God,
drones do get pulled. Oh, and he's going to wind up backing out. And unfortunately, his SCV scout did not see the Spire either. Now, he might have a good idea anyway, just from what he's seen with the double gas and not seeing any sort of lurkers or Hydra's Den. He might have a good idea that it is coming, but...
Yeah. But when the Spire finishes, he's only going to have 300 minerals. And so this move out from Moxie actually did exactly what he needed to do. He pulled the drones for a quick second, and he also made the Spine Crawler get made. And so the initial muta count is going to be at least 2, probably 3 or 4 lower than what it would have been.
Yeah. In the meantime, Moxie does not have... no, wait. Totally wrong. Doesn't have turrets, but he does have an engineering bay. So, not starting any turrets yet, so I'm not sure if he feels the Muta coming. Kind of just that star sense, you know? So the Mutas are going to go ahead and start poking in.
Yeah, Moxie has incorporated the fact that Mutas can show up into his build. He can he knows he can move out right now, and if the Mutas go straight to his mineral line, he knows that he can do damage to the Zerg base for at least a little bit of a trade-off. Fortunately,
his Marine and Medic Force does get split up there. That pathing taking him in different directions.
And now we commence the classic Mutalist versus Marine dance. But it will be wise to note that the Marine range is only just getting started, so it probably has another 25 seconds until it's completed. And until that's done, these Mutalists are just really going to pick apart these Marines.
But pushing out like this has bought Moxie enough time. He's got turrets up. Should feel reasonably safe. Don't want to feel safe with just a couple of turrets. He is getting a third one there in the main as well. So wants to be able to have that kind of freedom. Oh, and he actually has 2 down here by the production as well, which is smart, so that he doesn't have Marines and Medics just getting picked up as they spawn. So Franscar going to go ahead and get his third behind this while he keeps Moxie in his base. Feels reasonably safe to get that third.
It's a lot of Mutas.
Yeah, how many does he have here?
Over 10.
He's got, yeah. He's got 11 right now in this flock. He's got another 1 on the way at least. A couple more going to be rallying over. He's got 1 kind of just chilling.
Yeah, so he is completely committed to Mutalist right now, and I think Moxie might be in a little bit of a pickle here. He's going to have to weather the storm for at least a couple minutes, and if he does that, he'll probably be in a pretty good spot.
Just gotta be careful about this. Franscar does lose a Muta there. You might lose another one. Oh, nope. Managed to survive with about 20 health. Moxie gonna go ahead and try to rebuild those turrets. Fortunately, those SCVs just a little bit slow on trying to get that repair off. Pretty tricky, especially with this amount of Mutas. They can pretty much kill a turret in 2 volleys. With our new sick, awesome Starbow Muta Micro. Tirby, what are your thoughts on that Starbow Muta Micro, by the way? How do you feel it compares to the Brood War Micro? And
I think that it's
how do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's comparable. I definitely enjoy it a lot more than what we had a couple patches ago. I do feel that there could be a possibility to tone down the range of the Mutalist just a tad, but we have Franscar kind of circling out here. He might go in for a few pickoffs, but he decides not to. But yeah, I would say they could probably use just a tiny little tone down of how.
Go back to that 3 range from Brood War.
Yeah.
So at this point, Moxie's got a pretty sizable Marine and Medic force, able to engage these Mulas much more safely, or something along those lines. If you figure out the grammar there.
Yeah, it's safer.
Much safer.
Much safer. But now we have a bunch of Marines here. We got a bunch of Mulas as well, numbering past 15, and they're just going to pick apart these Marines. I don't think there's anything that these Marines are going to be able to do except die. Oh, yep. Too bad. And now that's pretty bad news for Moxie. Of course, he did lose his army, but that's not always the end of the world. It's always like what you can get in exchange for the army. But I just don't feel he got enough. Now, Franscar also has his Hive coming up with his third as well. So I think Moxie is probably going to sit back, max a little bit more, maybe move out with the Science Vessel once it's done and see if he can get some more damage. But this Muta count is just a little bit too high.
It's outrageous. Yeah, he's got 18 Mutas in this flock here, enough to wreck turrets really efficiently, and this mineral line is going to be very exposed very soon. Go ahead and take out the gas geyser. Very obnoxious.
Yeah, especially good to get that.
Yeah, especially as Moxie's trying to get those more techie units out, trying to work on those science vessels. Gonna lose well, I don't know. Actually, all of that he only managed to lose 1 Mutalisk, so very good trade for Franscar. And yeah, Franscar, especially now having that third, is in a really good spot. Worker counts are very even, but Franscar's army is starting to get pretty scary.
And the Starbow meta, if I can even really call it a meta because it's not pushed forward by too many people, but the fact that the Terrans are always going for these really early Mutalisk plays. I mean, the Zergs are always going for the early Mutalisk plays, but the Terrans don't seem to realize that some sort of starport unit is going to be needed to deal with the two-hatch Mutas, whether it be Science Vessels or not. But we do have something going down. We got Guardians morphing outside of the middle line. And this is going to be absolutely detrimental to Mox's chance of winning this game because he only has one Science Vessel right now.
Yeah, and absolutely, I don't think he has a single Viking on the field at this point, does he?
Oh god, the volleys are huge. He's going to have to. Franscar's going to move that one irradiated Guardian out, and now Moxie's just going to have to back up and hope that he can kind of stall for a little while.
And good job of Franscar of engaging over this these cliffs. It makes it very difficult for these Marines to engage these Guardians at all, which you don't really want to be fighting Guardians of Marines in the first place. So
look for Moxie to put an irradiate on his Science Vessel here and dance it back and forth in between these. Well, he didn't do that.
Oh,
I think he should have.
I think he might have. It looked like that's what he was going to try to do. I don't know if that was a misclick or not.
He still has mana to do it if he wants to. But okay, here comes the Viking. So look for these Guardians.
Here comes Scourge. 4 Scourge coming in, and there goes the Viking.
Oh boy. As
well as one of the Science Vessels, the one that had the most energy. Yeah. Although I think it did get its radio off just in time. So
now, these Guardians are a little bit lower now, but we have them up on the ground too, so I just don't know if Moxie's going to be able to clean this up. We do have another Viking coming out though, and no Scourge on the horizon, so given a few seconds, he's going to be able to pick all of them off. Maybe give himself a second chance to come back into this game.
Yeah. Oh, 1 Guardian still left. So that Viking does finish off those last six Guardians, but at this stage, Moxie is just terribly far behind.
Mm.
We did have 30 workers have now been killed by Franscar, and Zerlings are in the main. So cool play. Franscar does show us some different stuff, which is pretty fun to see. You don't see a lot of players making Guardians. Here and there, you'll see it. It's fun.
Yeah, he's bringing a lot of different builds to when he plays a tournament. I usually don't ever see him do the same build more than twice per tournament, which is always good if you're trying to throw off your opponent.
Yeah.
But we do have a little counterattack here coming up from Moxie. It's a couple Vikings and a Science Vessel, and I'm not quite sure how much it's going to do, but when you're at this point, you kind of have to just do anything you can.
He's going to go ahead and try to do one of those erasers there with the Viking.
But we have a huge counterattack at Moxie's natural, probably around 50 Zerglings and about 4 Ultras, and Moxie's going to GG.
GG.
Good game. Franscar does take the final and the $25 prize, 2-1 over Moxie Legend. Good job to both our players. I want to thank them both for playing. I also want to thank both of you guys for helping out with the cast here. So some thoughts there on our last game.
Go ahead, Finn. You first, buddy.
I don't want to be rude, but it felt kind of one-sided. I mean, Moxie played well, but I don't know.
I'd have to agree. It did feel a little bit one-sided. Of course, those types of games are going to happen every once in a while in StarCraft, whether it be Brood War or Starbow or StarCraft 2. I think what Moxie is probably going to look to for his next engagement with Franscar, and Moxie is great for tinkering with his build orders, is he's gonna try to figure out what exactly he needs to do when he sees a 2-hatch open like that, and what he needs to do when he starts seeing those Mutalisks. And I think what's going to end up happening is that Moxie's going to start favoring less of a 4 racks build and more of possibly 2 racks, maybe 3 racks, into a quicker starport, so we can go ahead and start irradiating and maybe getting some Vikings out to pressure that 3rd base. So look for Moxie to be tinkering with his build for next time these guys meet up.
Yeah, I feel like the big turning point there in that game was when he had that small force of Marina Medic push out onto the map and get surrounded there by the Lings and Mutas. Don't know if he knew exactly how much Zerg was out there on the map at that point. Might have been better to just wait a little bit longer to push out with that So.
Yep. Especially since he didn't have the range on his Marines upgraded yet, so that would definitely put him back quite a far ways.
All right. Well, we're not going to be able to have a champions interview this time. Franscar actually needs to go make dinner, so he's going to be eating. So unfortunately, no interview this time. But I want to thank everybody who was involved in Monday Night Starbow first, and then talk a little bit more about Monday Night Starbow for all of our viewers. First of all, thank you to Finn for being my co-caster here.
Welcome.
Thanks again to the Red Bandit for joining us for that last game there and giving some high-level analysis. The Red Bandit actually has won our first 3 money tournaments for Monday Night Starbow, but was unable to play in this one. So
dirty esports money.
That dirty esports money. So the Red Bandit actually, one of our Starbow developers actually did redonate that money back to the prize pool, so that we can continue to have these Monday Night Starbows for the foreseeable future.
If you guys think you can come up and beat us, then join up and take our money. Absolutely.
Hop on, join those Starbow chat channels, get the Eros client, hop on starbowmod.com, check out what we got going on. There's $25 up for grabs every couple weeks. Also, Eurobow number 2, I believe, is this Friday. Am I right? Is it this Friday? I believe it's this Friday night. That one's at a more EU-friendly time, so if you are in EU, or Europe, as we say when we're speaking, then definitely check that out as well. Once again, this was Monday Night Starbow number 7, our 7th edition. We play Starbow here on this channel every Monday night. Usually it's a couple hours later, 7 Eastern, which would be, I believe, 12 o'clock UTC, midnight UTC, Tuesday morning. But 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific is when we usually play. Every other week we have a $25 open tournament such as this one. But then on off weeks we do some fun stuff. We've had some big game hunters nights. We've had some FFA nights. We have some D and E League tournaments or newbie tournament nights where we have some of our newer players or players like myself and Finn who aren't quite as good playing those tournaments. So if you're thinking about playing Starbow, if you like how it plays, if you're interested in it, definitely check those out. We have a lot of new players who play in those tournaments. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a bunch of friendly chaps. Come on down. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. So
bring your mom, bring your grandma, bring your uncle. It's a blast.
Absolutely. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on the Team Liquid tournament forum as well as the StarbowMod.com's forums. We'll have more announcements about upcoming Monday Night Starbow events. Next week we might be doing something a little bit different. We're going to try to do a little bit of a Pro League style. Franscar, Moxie, and the Red Bandit actually have volunteered to be our captains for kind of a captain versus captain team event. So I'm not sure if that'll be next week or not. Might have to figure out the logistics, but it will be coming up soon. If not, we might be having another D or E or newbie tournament coming up. So D&E, it's kind of like our bronze and silver leagues tournaments. So, but I want to thank everybody for watching. Feel free to go ahead and give a follow here to the channel here, and check us out. Starbow still going on. If you're excited about Legacy of the Void, try out Starbow. We got a lot of that Legacy of the Void type stuff. So, any final thoughts from you guys?
We came up with some of the Legacy of the Void stuff first.
All right, Finn. All right, there is some stuff like that. So pretty cool.
But seriously, if you do need help with anything involving Starbow, please ask pretty much any one of us except Born. He'll crush your soul.
Nah.
Well, that too.
Born's a pretty good guy. He's always willing to help out the noobs, so he's helped me out quite a bit. So cool guy. I'm actually gonna go ahead and post a link to Eurobow number 2, which I believe, yeah, it is this Friday. So if you've got some time available Friday night, you can check that out. The Red Bandit, anything else you want to say?
No, you pretty much covered it, man. Thanks for putting on the tournament again, and I look forward to next week's tournament.
All right. We will be having another event next week, so stay tuned to this channel, everybody.